Equitable conversion and dead grantors. Dead grantors are also called transfer by operation of law, but let's go through equitable conversion first. So equitable conversion is usually pretty easy. The seller holds legal title, the buyer holds equitable title. Who bears the risk of loss during the executory period? Oh yes, the buyer, because they hold equitable title. But what we really want to talk about today is who gets the money if somebody dies. Okay, what type of title does the seller hold? Legal title. What kind of title does the buyer hold? Equitable title. So if the buyer dies, the obligation to purchase transfers to his estate. Why? Because he has the equitable interest in the land. The buyer dies, the estate has the obligation to buy the land. What happens when the seller dies? Well, let's go to the February 2009 MEE. The seller holds legal title. That means they hold the right to the money. Legal title, you own the right to the money, the right to the purchase price. So, seller, you die, you devise your property in a will, the person you designate as the legatee, the person who gets your personal property, gets the money. Okay, let's use an example here. We have a Jesse who owns half interest in a farm, and we have a buyer. 2 months before closing the sale with the buyer, Jesse died. 2 months before closing, ding, 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 equitable conversion period. At the time of Jesse's death, her will provided, I give all of my real property to devisee and all of my personal property to legatee. Okay, does Jesse own any real property at this point? No, she holds only bare legal title. She has the right to the purchase price. Therefore, when Jesse dies, the right to the purchase price goes to legatee, the person who gets her personal property. Okay, by contrast, here during the executory period, buyer has equitable title. So is he bound to purchase that property? Yes, but who gets the money? The person Jesse designated as the heir to her personal property. Okay, so let's simplify that. Equitable conversion during the executory period, seller holds legal title. So if the seller dies, the beneficiary with the right to personal property gets the money from the sale. They have the right to the purchase price. Who gets nothing? The beneficiary with the right to real property. So this is a nice trick question on the MEE. The beneficiary with the right to personal property, legatee, got the money. The real property went to devisee. Devisee got nothing because Jesse held bare legal title. The buyer during the executory period holds equitable title. Not only does he bear the risk of loss, but he has the interest in the land. Now, what if buyer had died? That's right, the obligation to buy, to purchase, would pass to his estate. So that's equitable conversion and dead people. Okay, now let's talk about dead grantors in general. And this is also called transfer by operation of law. So we already know that any proceeds from a sale go to the beneficiary who inherits personal property. Okay, let's talk about the doctrine of exoneration. Under the doctrine of exoneration, there's a presumption that mortgages of property conveyed to a beneficiary are paid by funds from the estate. So the mortgage would be the responsibility of the estate. Okay, this will also depend on a couple of things. Let's go back to real property, February 2009. Buyer had no actual notice of a recorded mortgage on the property. So exoneration, mortgages of property conveyed to the beneficiary, here would be the person that inherited personal property, are paid by funds from the estate. There's presumption of exoneration. In the February 2009 bar exam, there was an outstanding mortgage that was previously recorded. So if the buyer's on notice, that can flip. The mortgage, the buyer would, or the person who bought it would still take with subject to the mortgage. Okay, we're going to talk more about that later, but right now just remember the presumption of exoneration. That presumption is that mortgages of property conveyed to a beneficiary are paid by funds from the estate. Who's exonerated from the debts? The devisee. In this scenario, did devisee have any right to personal property? Excuse me, to real property? No, she had no right to it. Okay, sale proceeds go to the beneficiary who inherits personal property. The doctrine of exoneration provides that mortgages are paid off by the estate. Okay, how about if you give property and your beneficiary dies before you do? You know this, the gift lapses. The gift will lapse. If the beneficiary predeceases the testator, the gift of the farm lapses. However, remember, most states have an anti-lapse statute, meaning if the beneficiary predeceases the testator and the gift lapses, under an anti-lapse statute, who gets the land? The heirs. Under an anti-lapse statute, the beneficiary's heirs stand in the shoes of their dead parent or whoever and take the land. Okay, lapse, beneficiary predeceases the testator, the gift fails unless there is an anti-lapse statute under which the beneficiary's heirs would stand in the shoes of their dead relative. Okay, two more things, ademption by extinction and ademption by satisfaction. What's ademption? It means that the testator is giving property that isn't in the estate anymore. So if the real property described in the decedent's will is not in the state, it is, that's right, deemed. It's deemed. Yikes. Land, gosh, it's special or unique. You can't get a substitute gift. The beneficiary will take nothing. Nothing. Ademption by extinction. We have real property. It's described in the decedent's will, but something happened. They sold it. And it has deemed. The beneficiary takes nothing. Then there's ademption by satisfaction. Ademption by satisfaction just means that the land was given during the testator's lifetime. The gift is deemed by satisfaction because the beneficiary already received it. Okay, so remember, we're getting a little bit into decedent's estates here, but ademption by extinction, if the property is not in the estate, it's deemed. Okay, there are provisions for a substitute gift, but that is usually not for real property because real property is considered unique. More on that in decedent's estates. Okay, that's it for giving property to dead people.